Hello, good morning all. Why everyone is so late? You were in the another lecture? Okay, fine, fine, no problem. Okay, so yesterday, what we have completed? What we have completed in the yesterday's lecture? Ashish, radio waves. I told you, I think yesterday also, that that's why we are saying that in a mobile phone or in any electronic item, radio waves are used. That's why we are saying that the radiations are there. Yes, but in internet, it might was a question in quiz also. No, just do one thing. Do one thing, Ashish. Type in the internet that cell phones uses which waves. So you will get the answer.
No,
Right
ma'am.
now, whatever cell phones we are using, that will use the radio waves, everyone.
Yes, ma'am. But in the question there are something like LAN also. So
Sorry?
in that question there was not only the cell phone, there was LAN also like that. Many terms were there.
Okay, okay, okay. So maybe they were talking about the whole range. So yes, that can be, then the answer can be microwaves.
Okay, ma'am.
Actually, generally, let me tell you where the exact microwaves you are talking about. Then let me tell you, microwaves are generally being used in the some of the applications like you all are aware about microwave ovens. Then have you heard radars? Right, radars which are being used in the military applications, right? So radars are using the microwaves, as well as satellites are also using the microwaves, right? So some of the waves like microwaves or the radio waves are being used in a different applications, right? So if you're talking about specifically about the mobile phones, then let me tell you, mobile phones are using the radio waves. Arafat, what you are saying or asking, I am not able to understand. What is S400? You're talking about the missile system, right? Yeah. I understood. Yeah, okay, okay, okay. So yes, it is TRIUMF. Okay, it is not PH. It is F. Yeah, it is actually there are different type of air defense systems or radars or missile systems are being used. Yeah, S400. Okay, fine. Can we? Okay, so yesterday we have completed the cellular communication concept. One video we have seen, and then we have studied some theory concepts. Okay, in which the major topics we have discussed were, I think, first of all, it was how the cellular name was scheme, right? Why we are working in a term of cell. So what is cell? What is the cell structure, right? And how the cells will be divided among the region. Next, we have studied the different techniques which we can features of the cellular communication, which are the frequency, reuse, and cell splitting and everything. And we have also studied the handoff procedure, that how handoff will occur, handoff and roaming will be occur. And next, then last, we have studied about GSM. Okay, so that's all we have completed into the cellular communication. That is enough for the introduction of that cellular communication concept. Next, we want to learn about the satellite communication. So again, see, satellite communication is a vast subject, right? It can be covered into one whole subject. But in your DCN subject, we are going to take an introduction of it. Like what is a different type of, what are the different type of satellites, how they are working, right? So we are going to see the little bit introduction of that also. So again, before going towards direct theory portion, as you all know that whatever I want to explain into theory, same thing, first of all, I will show you with the animation so that you can easily understand the theory. Okay, so let us see one video. What we have, I think, started yesterday, but it was 12 minutes long. So we have said that we will cover it tomorrow. So let us see that video. Let me share the screen now. First, just a minute. Okay, can you see the screen and hear the sound, everyone?
Satellite. Yes, ma'am.
Screen and sound is clear? Fine.
A satellite is any object that revolves in a curved path around a planet. There are two major types of categorization when it comes down to satellites. One is natural satellite, and the other is artificial satellite. A natural satellite is any celestial body in space that orbits around a larger body. Satellites that are made by people and launched into orbit using rockets are called artificial satellites. Launching an artificial satellite. The launching a satellite into orbit involves two steps process. First, the satellite has to be taken to the desired altitude. Then, it has to be pushed off at the right velocity to begin and maintain its orbit. To launch a satellite in an orbit around the Earth, launch vehicle, such as a rocket or a space shuttle, is used. A launch vehicle travels straight up only for the first few seconds of its flight. A satellite launch vehicle is a multi-stage rocket. It also contains several smaller booster rockets. The boosters give the rocket its initial thrust during launch and carry the vehicle through the early part of the flight. As the fuel in the boosters is used up, the rocket fall away and the other boosters take over. Each time a booster is dropped, the vehicle gets lighter, so it can travel faster. When it finally reaches the proper altitude and speed, it releases the satellite into the orbit. How a satellite works. Satellite communication consists of three main components: uplink, satellite transponder, downlink. An uplink earth station or other ground equipment transmits the desired signal to the satellite. This satellite transponder amplifies the incoming signal and changes the frequency. This satellite transponder transmits the signal back to downlink earth station, and the ground equipment receives the signal. Satellite communication uses ground stations to send and receive microwave signals between artificial satellites, which are in orbit around the Earth. Types of satellite orbits. By inclination, there are three kinds of satellite orbits: equatorial orbit, inclined orbit, and polar orbit. Equatorial orbit. An equatorial orbit is when the satellite rotates in an orbit directly above the equator, usually in a circular path. It has an inclination of 0 degrees. Inclined orbit. Inclined orbits are virtually all orbits except those that travel directly above the equator or directly above the north and south poles. The angle of inclination vary between 0 to 180 degrees. Polar orbit. A polar orbit is when the satellite rotates in a path that takes it over the north and south poles in an orbital pattern that is perpendicular to the equatorial plane. Polar orbiting satellites follow a low-altitude path close to Earth's surface, passing over and very close to both the north and south poles. The angle of inclination of a satellite in a polar orbit is nearly 90 degrees. On the basis of the altitude from Earth, the types of orbits are classified into low Earth orbit, medium Earth orbit, and geostationary Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit satellites operate at a distance of about 160 to 2,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. It takes approximately 90 to 120 minutes to circle the Earth. Medium Earth orbit. Medium Earth orbit is the region of space around the Earth above low Earth orbit and below geostationary orbit. The orbital periods of medium Earth orbit satellites range from about 2 to 6 hours. This satellite operates at altitudes between 2,000 kilometers and 35,786 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Geostationary Earth orbit. A geostationary satellite is an Earth-orbiting satellite. It placed at an altitude of approximately 35,786 kilometers directly over the equator, that revolves in the same direction the Earth rotates, that means west to east. This satellite takes 24 hours to orbit the Earth. Orbits are also classified into two types on the basis of the shape: circular orbit and elliptical orbit. Circular orbit. Circular orbit is the orbit with a fixed distance around the barycenter, that is, in the shape of a circle. This orbit has an eccentricity of 0. There are several types of circular orbits, and they include geostationary orbit, polar orbit, and equatorial orbit. Elliptical orbit. An elliptical orbit is the revolving of one object around another in an oval-shaped path called an ellipse. The eccentricity of an elliptical orbit is greater than 0 but less than 1. Sometimes these satellites are closer, and at other times they are farther away from Earth. The closest point a satellite comes to Earth is called its perigee. The farthest point is the apogee. The most common example of elliptical orbit is highly elliptical orbit. Types of artificial satellites. Navigation satellite. A satellite navigation system used to determine the ground position of an object. It determines the geographic location of ships, aircrafts, or any other object. It is also vital to military forces. It is often used for gathering intelligence used for military purposes or as a military weapon. The major satellite navigation systems. The navigation satellite system with global coverage is called Global Navigation Satellite System or GNSS. The United States was the first country to introduce satellite technology with the Global Positioning System or GPS. Another ambitious global navigation satellite system aside from GPS in development is the Galileo system in Europe. Russia also has its own satellite system, called the Russian Global Navigation Satellite System or GLONASS. In China, there is the Beidou Navigation Satellite System, which will consist of more than 30 satellites. There is the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System or IRNSS in India. Lastly, the Quasi-Zenith Satellite System or QZSS is Japan's satellite system, which is similar to a GPS satellites with some slight variations. Weather satellite. Weather satellites are primarily used to monitor the weather and climate of the Earth, to predict daily weather conditions, such as temperature and rainfall, to monitor how weather conditions, like storms, hurricanes, cyclone, tropical storms, develop and change over time. Communications satellite. The communications satellite is a satellite that transmits the signals such as telephone, television, radio, internet signals over long distances. If you do like my channel, please subscribe, comment, share the videos to...
Okay, how many things you understood in this video? Let us quickly summarize all the things. So how many different characteristics you have studied into this? A lot. Someone is saying a lot. Okay. A lot cannot be the answer, right? You need to point out. Not a many. Suman and Ashish, don't be smart, huh? Okay, so first of all, we have studied a very basic information about the satellite that can be of two types. One is the natural and second is the human-made, right, or artificial. So natural satellites are what is the satellite actually, which is revolving over the revolving around the another you can say that station, right? So for example, you can take the example of moon, that is a natural satellite. But if you're talking about the artificial satellite, so we have studied many things about the artificial satellite characteristics into this video, right? So what is that first characteristic you want to mention about the artificial satellite? First of all, we have seen about the launching of satellite. So launching of satellite means they are saying that whenever you are making any artificial satellite and you want to launch it, it will be generally launched by rockets, right? Multiple rocket boosters can also be there. right? Whenever it will reach to the appropriate distance and appropriate speed will be covered, then that satellite will come out from the rocket and the other parts will be vanished, destroyed. Okay, so after that, satellite can move in the orbits. So different types of orbits we have studied, and how the satellite can move. So satellite can move in a different type of orbit. The first of all, they have mentioned about three type of orbit, right? Which are those three types, everyone? Three types of orbits. Orbits means, what is the orbit first of all? A path, right? A path in which satellite is traveling. Yeah, correct, Ashish. So yes, which are the three types of orbit? One is equilateral. Yeah, 0 degree, it means equilateral. Second is inclined. Yeah, based on inclined. So first of all, based on inclination, there are three types of orbit. One is equilateral, second is inclined, and third is polar. Yeah, correct. So equilateral means 0 degree, 0 degree towards the equilateral plane of the Earth. Second is the inclined orbit. So inclined means some of the angle will be there, right, in the equilateral plane of the that Earth and the that angle. So that angle can be varied in between 0 to 180. And the third is polar. So polar is exactly 90 degree, right? So 90 degree with the equilateral plane, it will be rotated. It will be travel into the orbit. Based on altitude, which are the different type of satellites we have studied based on the altitude? Low, medium, and high. So low Earth orbit, medium Earth orbit, and not high actually, Suman. It is geostationary. Leo, MEO, and GEO. Okay. So Leo means low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit means it will be nearer to Earth. And to travel that complete path around the Earth, it will not take more than 2 hours, right? So maximum time to travel that orbit or complete that path will be taken by the satellite is 120 minutes. Second is medium Earth orbit. So medium Earth orbit means the somewhat higher distance than the Earth, right? So that higher distance, to cover that higher distance, the satellite can work or satellite can take maximum 6 hours, 2 to 6 hours. It can vary, okay? It can vary between 2 to 6 hours. And the third is geostationary. Why it is known as geostationary? Because it will take the same time as the natural satellite, that is a moon, 24 hours. Okay, so 24 hours will be taken by the geostationary satellite to complete the orbit. Okay, so three types of three types of satellites or satellite orbits we have studied, that is based on the altitude. So altitude is nothing but a distance, right? Distance in the vertical, generally it is measured in the vertical path, right, from north to south, how much distance will be there. So distance, based on the distance or altitude, there are three different type of satellite orbits we have studied: Leo, MEO, and GEO. After that, after this, what we have studied? Okay, one more thing I think we are missing, that is uplink, downlink, and transponders. So what is the uplink? What is the meaning of uplink? From the Earth station, yeah, from the Earth station, if we are sending some signal, sending something into the satellite, then that is known as uplink path. And uplink frequency will be used to send that signal from Earth to satellite. Okay, generally uplink frequency is higher than the downlink frequency. I will tell you later that why. Okay, yeah, I will tell you the frequency range and everything. Don't worry. Suman, wait a minute. Generally, uplink frequency will be used for sending the signal from Earth to satellite. Okay. Now, what transponder will do, everyone? What transponder will do? One word was there after uplink. We have studied transponder. So what is that transponder? receives uplink by satellite. Okay, it is not only a receiver. Amplification, yes, it will do the amplification of the signal. Okay. Anything else? Sends back downlink. Okay. It converts the frequency also, if you have learned that. Isn't it? It converts the frequency which is required for satellite. So from the Earth station, whatever signal you are sending to the satellite, obviously that signal is traveling a long distance, right? So for that long distance, signal will be weakened. So to amplify that weakened signal for the satellite, amplification is required. And the another thing is, to receive that or to support that uplink frequency, transponder should be designed in such a way so that it can receive the uplink frequency and it can convert it to the suitable frequency for the satellite. And then again it will be converted, which can be sended into the downlink. And why? Now I want to ask you one question, that why that frequency conversion is required? Because let me tell you, uplink frequency is high and downlink frequency is low. Generally, whenever you are using a satellite communication, a specific range of frequencies will be used, generally in a gigahertz, right? I think it is maximum up to 300 gigahertz or something like that. Okay, but you cannot use the higher frequency for the downlink, because frequency is directly related with the power. I repeat, frequency is directly proportional to power requirement. So at the Earth station, you can generate whatever power you want to generate, right? You can have that flexibility. But at the satellite, power is limited, right? Power is limited. So downlink frequency should be low so that less power can be used to send the signal. But at the transmitter side, you can use the higher frequency because higher power option is available with you. Okay, so actually satellite is working in a different band. Actually, Ashish was asking me that what is the frequency range. So let me tell you, yes, it is up to 300 gigahertz, but satellite is working in a different bands of frequency, right? Like L band, V band, and so many bands are there. And those all bands are having a different range of the frequency, 1 to 2 gigahertz, right? Or 15 to 20 gigahertz, like that. So those bands are different for the different type of satellites, everyone. But yes, what is this uplink, transponder, and downlink? I told you. Uplink means you are sending a signal from Earth station to satellite with a specific high frequency value. Transponder will receive that signal, amplify that signal, and convert the frequency from uplink to downlink frequency. Because only then it can be signal can be sent to the downlink. So downlink will receive, downlink means nothing but the signal sent from the satellite to the Earth station. So that's all we have studied into this video about the uplink, transponder, satellite. Anything we are missing? Anything else? At last, what we have studied? Okay, one is path shape. Yes, very, very important. Path shape can be circular, that is orbit shape can be circular or elliptical. So whenever satellite follows the circular path around the Earth, then it is known as a circular orbit. And whenever it is following the elliptical path means from the one, it is the path with some angle, right? So it is not like a circle where the radius is equal around the path, around the peripheral, right? So two types of values will be there. Actually, it is related with the one word, that is eccentricity. Eccentricity is nothing but under root of s square minus b square, where a is the distance between Earth to the nearest point of the orbit. From Earth center to the nearest point of the orbit. That is known as, yes, what is the nearest point? There are 2 points. From the Earth, nearest point and the farthest point. One is perigee and one is apogee. Do you remember that? At last in the video, they have mentioned these 2 words, perigee and apogee. So yes, A is the perigee and B is the apogee, right? So from the Earth center, if you are taking a point of the orbit, nearest point of the orbit, then it is known as a perigee, or sorry. And whenever you are taking from Earth's center to the farthest point, that is known as apogee, right? So yes, that's all we have studied, and that is enough for the satellite introduction. Okay, so that's all we are going to learn into the theory also. But yes, before that, I will give you a break of 2 minutes, Ashish. I'm actually going to give you the break. Don't demand it. Okay, so okay, take a 2 minute break, and after 2 minutes, we will start with the theory portion. Why transponder change the frequency? Yogaraj, I told you the reason, no? That satellite cannot work in the high frequency, because to you can say that to respond to that high frequency, high power is required. I repeat, uplink frequency is high frequency. So that uplink frequency needs to be converted to the lower frequency, so that satellite can work with the low power. Okay, so everyone, after 2 minutes, we will continue with the theory. Okay, so can we resume now? Okay, fine. So today we have started with the detailed introduction of satellite. Yes, one more thing I think we have missed, that is use of satellite. Which different satellites are there according to their uses? So first is the navigation satellite, second is the weather satellite, and third is the communication satellite. Navigation satellites are used to provide a navigation, right? You all are aware about the navigation system. You all are using the Google Map, but that Google Map is using the GPS system that is actually covered by the USA. USA is having a navigation system, GPS. Same way, every other countries are having their own navigation system. India is also having one navigation system, IRNSS, right? But IRNSS is under process. Some research are already happening into the IRNSS, and then it will also be come into the picture, right, in the use. And after that, we've learned about the weather satellite. In weather satellite, we have seen that how the weather satellite will be used to give the prediction of the weather, right, of the for the different storms or something like condition, for which we can be aware about it, right? Previously, before happening it, we can be aware about. And the third is communication satellite. So whenever we are receiving the signal from the our dish antenna in the television, right? So that's a type of communication satellite. Same way radar, right? So all the applications in which we are doing a communication with the satellite, we are receiving the signal directly from the satellite in the broadcast purpose, right? So that is known as communication satellite. So that's all we have studied into the video. So let us start with the theory. Here we are going to study the basics of satellite, types of satellite, and capacity allocation. So how do satellite work? You all know, right? Uplink, transponder, and downlink. These three things are required for the satellites to work. Two stations on Earth want to communicate through the radio broadcast but are too far away to use conventional means. For example, one station is in Gujarat, one station is in, let's say, Himalaya, right? So if two stations wants to communicate with each other, then they are very far with each other. So the simple broadcast signal, radio broadcast you can use via satellite, they can communicate with each other. So from one Earth station, you can send a signal to satellite, and from the satellite, it will be received to the other station. Two stations can use a satellite as a relay station for their communication. Relay means a switch. This will receive a signal from one station, and it will give the signal to the other station. One Earth station sends a transmission to the satellite. This is called the uplink. The satellite transponder converts the signal and sends it down to the second Earth station. This is called a downlink. Okay, so we have studied this already. Advantages of satellite communication over the terrestrial communication are: coverage area of a satellite greatly exceeds that of a terrestrial system. So before going further, let me ask you, what is terrestrial system? Are you aware about this word? What is terrestrial? It is a communication word only. It is used for the different type of application. We use towers, mobile system, cables. Yogaraj is saying that which wave does it use to transmit the signal? I told you, no, satellite can use a radio wave or microwave. Both are valid depending upon the frequency range, right? Frequency ranges are varied in the satellite communication. So if you will see the frequency spectrum, you search the frequency spectrum in the internet, you will get the different spectrum like radio waves, X-rays, microwaves, right? So different waves are used, different frequencies. We use towers, mobile system, cables. So yes, terrestrial is nothing but on a Earth, whatever medium you are using for the communication, that is known as a terrestrial communication, right? So other than terrestrial communication, what are the different satellite communication is having the advantages? Obviously, coverage area can be more. So one station and second station is too far with each other, then also the communication is possible easily. Transmission cost of a satellite is independent of the distance from the center of the coverage area. So yes, you cannot say that if you want to communicate in the farthest distance, then satellite launching cost will be increased, right? So satellite transmission cost of a satellite is not dependent upon the distance. Satellite to satellite communication is very precise. So yes, you can receive a very precise signal from satellite to satellite. Higher bandwidths are available for use. So yes, higher bandwidth means high frequency range is available. So different bands are there. I already told you. So many frequency bands are there. And whenever you go up into the air, go up into the air, you can use the higher frequencies. Disadvantages. So one disadvantage, major disadvantage is it is very costly whenever you are launching the satellite, right? So launching satellites into orbit is costly. Satellite bandwidth is gradually becoming used up. So yes, if you are using satellite in so many applications, obviously bandwidth will be used, right? So it's not like that bandwidth is unlimited. Yeah, bandwidth is large, but it is not unlimited. There is a larger propagation delay in satellite communication than in terrestrial communication. So yes, they are saying that whenever you are sending a signal from Earth station to satellite to again another station, so obviously the propagation delay will be increased because of the distance, right? So distance is high, so delay can be more compared to the terrestrial communication. How satellites are used? So different type of services can be provided by the satellite. First is fixed service satellite, that is point-to-point communication. If you want to transmit continuously from one station to another station, if you want to do communication only between 2 points, so that is known as fixed service satellites. Second is broadcast service satellites, so that are being used in the satellite television or radio. also called as direct broadcast service. You all are using it, right? So that is used for the broadcast service. And second is mobile service satellite. So in the some of the military applications and the defense system, they are using the satellite phones also, right? So satellite phones are able to communicate with each other by using the satellite. Types of satellite. These three types of orbits you are all aware about: GEO, LEO, MEO. One more is there, that is Molniya orbit, and second is HAPs. I will tell you about this in the next slide, right? And the different frequency bands are required for the different type of orbits. Geostationary Earth orbit is important because it is same like the natural, it follows the same orbit like the natural satellite. The satellites are in the orbit 35,863 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Objects in the geostationary orbit revolve around the Earth at the same speed as the Earth rotates, right? So same speed as well as same direction will be followed, right? So Earth rotation direction will be followed by the geosatellite. This means geosatellites remain in the same position relative to the surface of the Earth. See why it is important? Because whenever you want to move with the Earth, then geostationary is very important. Otherwise, if another satellites are there which are moving with a different speed than the Earth, then you cannot stick towards the one point, right? So for the fixed services, these geostationary Earth orbits are very important. So what are the different advantages of geostationary satellites? A geosatellite's distance from Earth gives it a large coverage area, almost a fourth of the Earth's surface. Geosatellite have a 24-hour view of a particular area. So navigation satellites are can use the geostationary. Why? Because 24 hours you can keep a view on the particular area. These factors make it ideal for satellite broadcast and other multi-point application. So these are being used for the satellite broadcast also and the other multi-point application also. Which are the disadvantages? Geosatellites distance also cause it to have both a comparatively weak signal and a time delay in the signal. So yes, geostationary satellite is far from the Earth. So whenever you are sending or receiving a signal with that geostationary satellite, then the signal will travel a long distance. So it can be a weak, right? So weak signal can be reached to the satellite. Same way, whenever satellite sends the signal to Earth, it can be a weak. So you will require to amplify it, you will require to repair the signal, as well as the delay will be more because of the distance. So distance is more, so delay will also be more. Okay, so which is bad for point-to-point communication. So if you are doing a point-to-point communication, this is not a good way. Geosatellites centered above the equator have difficulty broadcasting signals to near polar regions. So geosatellites, whenever you are using, if that geostationary satellites are centered above the equator, that will be difficult for the broadcasting applications as to the near polar regions, right? So wherever the polar regions means 90-degree phase, 90-degree phase पे जितने भी region है, right? Wherever the regions are there in that 90-degree phase to the equator, then there will be difficulty to send a signal over there, to broadcast it over there. Advantages of the LEO. LEO satellites proximity to Earth compared to a geosatellites gives it a better signal strength. So yeah, whatever disadvantages the GEO have, that are the advantages of LEO. Why? Because LEO are nearer to Earth. LEO is having a less distance to the Earth, from the Earth, right? So it ranges from the 500 to 1500 kilometer only. LEO satellites don't stay in the fixed position relative to the surface because it takes only 2 hours to complete the orbit, and Earth takes 24 hours. So obviously both are different. A network of LEO satellites is necessary for LEO satellites to be useful. So advantages is better signal strength, less time delay, which makes it better for the point-to-point communication. LEO satellite smaller area of coverage is less of a waste of bandwidth. So yes, smaller area is required, so bandwidth requirement will also be less. I told you that whenever you will go far from the Earth, right? The bandwidth will be high, bandwidth requirement will be increases. Okay, so if it is nearer to smaller area, then it will require less bandwidth. Then what are the disadvantages? Disadvantages are a network of LEO satellites is needed, which can be costly, right? So LEO satellite, for LEO satellite, you have to generate a network, separate network is required, so that can be a costly. LEO satellites have to compensate for Doppler shift caused by the. See, I'm not going to deep into it because you are not aware about this Doppler shift and drag effect, right? And it is not needed to study it over here. What is Doppler shift and drag effects? So some types of environmental effect can be affected in the LEO satellite. What they are saying that it is nearer to Earth, so some type of effects can be whichever occurring into the Earth also. Last is MEO satellite. MEO satellite is an orbit somewhere between 8,000 to 18,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. MEO satellites are similar to LEO in the functionality point of view, are visible for much longer periods of time than LEO satellite. In the LEO, only 2 hours, maximum 2 hours, but here it is between 2 to 8 hours. Actually, in the video that is mentioned that 2 to 6 hours, right? MEO satellites have a larger coverage area than the LEO satellites. So larger coverage area, coverage area was also mentioned into the video. 20,000 to 35,000 kilometers, something like that. A MEO satellite's longer duration of visibility and wider footprint means fewer satellites are needed in a MEO network than a LEO network. So see, if you are using a LEO network, more satellites will be requirement. More satellite, because coverage area will be less. But if you are using MEO, it is far from the Earth, right? Compared to LEO, it is far from the Earth. So higher coverage area will be covered. So less number of satellite will be required in the network. Very simple, right? See, why we are using a satellite? To keep an eye on the Earth, right? So if you are using a LEO satellites, more number of satellites are required because it is nearer to Earth. So it will be more number of satellites will be required to cover the full area. Same way in the MEO, less number of satellites are required. And in GEO, only one satellite is required, right? Because it will cover the whole Earth. Fine. So that is the thing they are saying. Disadvantages: a MEO satellite's distance gives it a longer time delay and weaker signal, same like GEO, than a LEO satellite, though not as bad as a GEO, right? They are saying that in this point of view, if you will see the delay and a weaker signal, then compared to GEO it is better, but compared to LEO it will be weaker and more delay will be required. Other orbits are also there, right? LEO, GEO and MEOs are there, but other orbits are also there. One is Molniya orbit and second is high altitude platform, HAP, right? No need to study because this type of orbits are not being used in the different type of satellites right now. Only 3 types of orbits are important. So Molniya and high altitude platform orbits are just given here, right? In the PPT I have given here, but it is not required for you to study. Frequency band, I told you that satellites are working in the different frequency band like L, S, C, X, KU, K, KA, right? And all these bands are using the different frequencies and different applications, right? So for the different type of services, they are using a particular band, right? It's like if you want to use the satellite, if you want to use the satellite for a particular service like broadcast, for broadcasting purpose, right? Then you can use only these 3 bands, KU, K and KA. Actually not K, even KU and K band. If you want to use it military application, then X band is required, right? So particular applications are using a particular band of the frequency. And last, capacity allocation. So again, capacity allocation, why it is important, like in a mobile phone. In a mobile phone also we are saying that very large number of subscribers are there and we have limited band of frequencies. So what we can do to occupy all the subscribers? So 2 techniques actually are used over here also. One is FDMA, frequency division multiple access, and second is TDMA, time division multiple access. Okay, so frequency division multiple access is nothing but the whole frequency range of the satellite will be divided into number of frequency channels. Number of frequency channels. If you remember, in a cellular communication also we have studied this, right? That number of channels are there which will be assigned to the different subscribers, right? Only one frequency band is there. We cannot assign the whole frequency band to one user, right? So if you can divide the frequency band into different number of channels, then that is known as FDMA, frequency division multiple access. So if you are dividing a frequency, multiple accesses are possible. That's why it is known as FDMA. Second is TDMA. So in the TDMA, what we are doing? Okay, we have divided the frequency, or let's say we have not divided the frequency, but what we can do is we want to assign a one frequency to different users. So only one frequency is there, but I want to assign it to different users. So how it can be assigned? So by dividing time. I told you one that whenever you are talking about a human being is not able to recognize a very small time like microsecond or nanosecond of time, right? So if you are assigning some microsecond time to one user, some microsecond time to the second user, some microsecond time to the third user, then every user can use that frequency after that much time. Okay, so you can divide the frequency, or you can divide the frequency band into time. So every user can use that frequency's time on their time. It's like I told you multiple times that let's say you have one lab to use, then I will assign the lab to each different classes for some time. That this class can use this lab for this duration. This class can use this lab for this duration, right? So that lab utilization will be increased. Same thing is happening over here. Yeah, don't write a number. I'm going to tell you. Our thing is done. Whatever we want to study into the satellite in theory, that we have completed. Okay, I just want to complete this chapter today because only that much part was pending. Okay, so satellite communication is completed. So today we have seen one video of the satellite, as well as we have seen all the theories what we have studied into the video also. Okay, so everyone is having any doubt? I think some students are asking some doubts. It can cover much portion of the earth than LEO. So why use GEO, ma'am? I told you, no, some advantages are also there. So if advantages are more important than the disadvantages, then you can use the GEO, right? The advantages you all know, that we need not to create a network which will require so many satellites, right? So only one satellite is enough to cover the whole distance. Fine. So if that is the advantage and that is requirement, then we will use GEO, right? We will use something. We will do something for the weaker signal and the delay, right? We will use some other techniques to solve that problem, right? So, okay, everyone, if you have doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, write your enrollment number. Ma'am, I can't do the online quiz. The link doesn't open. Janetu, which link you are using for the online quiz? Yes, Janetu, which link you are using for the online quiz? Third one.
Ma'am, I also tried. I created a new email, but it failed.
Yes, Ryan, sorry, I'm not able to understand your question.
Like the online quiz, mine also failed. I tried with another email, like 3 emails.
Okay, then also it is not working.
Yes.
Okay, see everyone, if anyone is having a third number of link, right, according to their enrollment number, then don't worry. If you are not able to solve the problem, then use the first or second link. No problem. It will be okay. You can use the other websites, Career Ride or Study Tonight. But
Okay,
do it
ma'am.
today. Today is last day, everyone. Complete it today.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So everyone complete your term work task today only. Today is the last day. Janetu, same solution for you also. If you are facing a problem into the third link, then you can use the first or second, no problem. Yeah, Mihir, only one need to do. One quiz is there of 40 questions. In the career ride of 40 questions, one quiz is there. Only that you have to do. Okay, those who have written their number, they can leave. And yes, those who have not given the unit test 1, they can give it tomorrow. Anytime between 9 to 2. Because that link will be open from 9 to 2. So if anyone has faced a problem yesterday, then they can give the test tomorrow. But after tomorrow, I'm not going to open it for anyone. Dhara, for what you are talking about, the date is changed? Unit test date is changed. Okay, so what is the new date? Monday. Okay, so no problem. Okay, if date is changed, then you can attempt it on Monday. If tomorrow there is a problem with the, I think some users are not able to give it on tomorrow, so you can give it on Monday, no problem. So everyone whose unit test is pending, kindly give it on Monday. Okay, everyone. After writing your number, you can leave.